What is up, guys? This is Troy from Sweet Wraps. Today I'm going to show you how to wrap a GMC EV. So from start, what you're going to want to do is get a piece of your material, depending on what material you're using. You're going to want to lay it on the actual panel itself and see the tackiness of it. This is the first thing you're going to want to do before you end up doing the whole thing, just in case. You don't want to have stuff that sticks like duct tape and have a really difficult install, guys. So as you can see, even with the squeegeeing down, I'm able to lift it off fairly easy, and hopefully the whole install goes great. This is fairly thicker film than your cast. It does stretch, as you can see. It does stretch pretty easily to conform to things, but yeah, we're going to see how this installs. We're going to start off with the hood since it's the easiest panel. We did put a little bit of adhesive primer on these deep recesses, just on this middle one, because it's about ½ an inch deep. As you can see, it's about maybe almost the first length of my pinky. So we put adhesive primer just on the edge, guys, not paint it all on the inside or anything, just to hold down the deepest recess on that. And from there, we're going to start from the top down, and we're going to be pushing the air out on the front end, and then from there we're going to be finishing off the sides. You don't really need to add anything to these because it's not such a deep recess. You can feed it into this, but for the middle, yes, you're going to want to put a little bit of adhesive primer on here, just because we live in South Texas, or we're at South Texas, and we don't want the heat to eventually start activating the memory on this. So let me get the roll cut out, let me place it on, wipe it down. I already wiped it down and put some tack reducer on these two flat panels right here, not on any of this or the middle, just to make it a little bit more easier to reposition. But let me turn off my AC so there won't be any contamination blowing on it, and we'll get to cutting out the panel and laying it on this hood. You're going to want to go over everything with a tack cloth, guys, beforehand, once that AC is off, just so you could get any particles or anything that might be on the actual panel itself beforehand. This is a wrap, guys, so it might not always be 100%, especially because once you peel off that backing, it's actually going to pull in some particles from around. Even if you're in a closed shop, you can never have a fully cleaned 100% particle free space. So you're just going to want to clean it off with this. You're going to be blowing it off, and then we're going to get to installing. Let me put you guys on a time lapse, and I'll show you the process of how to get this hood done. Alright guys, now jumping onto the fender. Sorry about that. My phone overheated and I had to cut the video or just move on instead of trying to get my phone cooled down and finish the rest of the cutting of the hood. So pretty straightforward, just cut to the edges and make sure everything is overlapping. This film is a color changing film or a color flip film, but fortunately this film is not directional, so you really don't have to worry about it lining up or it being up and down all the time or cut the same way all the time. So this fender, all you need to do is cut 40 inches by 5 feet and you're able to get this fender done. Like I said, it doesn't need to be the same direction, so everything lines up perfectly. Most of these calendar films do, so just to put that out there. But as you can see, I just worked from back to the front and kind of stretch around that curvature on that front end to get everything laid out and everything stretched along the body lines. I also did tape off every panel, guys, just to make it that much easier to tuck in between. It is a little bit harder when you don't tape off all the opposite panels because it does stick to those panels a little bit more. It makes it easier to lift and just tuck in between those panels. So guys, now we're going to move on to the tailgate of this vehicle. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be getting all the emblems off of this tailgate. This is how I like to be doing it. This is a little tip that you guys can put in your arsenal also. I like taping it with thicker tape. It's a lot better than thinner tape like painter's tape, but I did layer it 3 times just so you won't get too much flexibility or stretching. This keeps the letters together after you what is this called? Finish line them off or take them off the double-sided tape. All you're going to want to do is gently make sure every letter is stuck to the tape. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to put that line behind those letters and start taking them off little by little. And with that tape, it's going to actually hold them together. So once you go to putting them back together or putting them back on the vehicle, you won't have such a hard time of getting that alignment correctly, just like this. So as you can see, guys, now it's just like how it comes from the factory or whoever you buy it from. It's going to be lined up exactly like how you took it off. All you're going to need to do is put some double-sided tape, align it, stick it on, and you're good to go. Sometimes it doesn't have to be 100% aligned. You just need to align it to the body line right here, and it'll look pretty OEM. Like as you can see right here, it is actually aligned to the body line itself. So that's how you know that it's gonna align correctly. All you need to do is measure from here to here, and then from here to the emblems, and write it down somewhere, and you'll be able to get it aligned to stock specs right off the bat just by having those measurements, guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing on the GMCs, the Sierra EVs, and then we'll get to wrapping it. So this part is just a taping up of the letters and taking them off and eraser wheeling the 3M double-sided tape that stays on there. I didn't think this was a very important part to actually watch, so I did forward this up about 40 times because it was a long process and it isn't very important. All you need is a 3M eraser wheel and a drill, and easily just slowly kind of take off the double-sided tape from the body panels and then just wipe them off, clean them down, and you're ready to go. But this wasn't a very important part to show everything in real time. So here we go on wrapping this up. This is probably where I messed up, and this is probably why I didn't have some extra to do the rest of the truck, or extra left over after I did the rest of the truck. I actually miscut this piece, but I did use it for the top end of the bed right here, so I kind of miscut, but I still used it. So I'm not sure why I still
came up short, even though it was only about 5 feet maybe that I wasted on here, because I did stretch it. So it was only about 5 feet, but I did cut about a 70 something inch or 60 something inch to cover the rest of the bed. So that's probably where I messed up and I came up short. Yeah, so don't do that. Measure twice, cut once, guys. Never cut before you get the actual dimensions, because this could actually mess you up in the long run.
Alright guys, we got the quarter panel laid out now. What we're going to do is we're going to start from the front, make our way to the back. As you can see, I got it all cut out already around the wheel wells or the over fenders, and then I got everything cut out on the bottom. It is a little longer. This was a 90-inch piece by 60 inches, so that's all you're going to need to get this done. What we're going to do is we're going to be working our way in increments from the top down, and then what we're going to do is we're going to work on this bottom piece, or this flatter piece, and then from there we're going to finish off the bottom. You're going to want to be working the backing paper from the top down, and you're going to want to stop about right here, so you could get this all stretched out and ready to go. From here, just going to want to get as much as this as flat as possible without creating unnecessary tension. Unnecessary tension in these areas, just so it could make it easier for us to work that back end. And as you can see, we already got to the panel right here. I did put a little bit of tack reducer, guys, just because this is a little bit of a flatter panel and wider panel, so most of the material is going to lay out while you're pulling the backing already. So what we're going to do is we're going to peel off all of this, and we're going to get it all tacked down and ready to go, and then squeegee out all the air. That's why you're going to want to use tack reducer, guys, because we are going to do this piece all in one go, most of it. You're going to want to try to keep this piece in the front as flat as possible, as straight as possible, so when you get to squeegeeing this out, there's not going to be any weird adhesive marks or anything like that. You're just going to want to keep everything straight. You don't want to shift to the side or something, because then how you laid it out is probably not going to fit or something like that. You could run into issues. So we're going to lay these magnets out of the way. Start peeling that backing paper. Trying to keep it off the panel itself, just so you don't get all these glue lines. So we could start peeling it from the back right here. And just like that, got majority of this peeled up. Let me move you guys to the side just a little bit so I could have more control over this. Give me 1 second, guys. Gonna put this camera where it's not in, but here we go. Now what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to gently peel it off of the panel itself. You get that backing paper out of the way. Now what you're gonna do is stretch the back end, make sure everything is flat and aligned. So what you can do is just come back here and start squeegeeing everything along the body line. There you go. Squeegeeing everything along the body line. From here, since we have that tension from the front to the back, you could actually just create some tension to the up position and to stretch it upwards and downwards, so we could make it all flat, guys. This truck bed's not very complicated like the other ones, So you're not going to have to go down all the way, and you're not going to have to go to the back all the way, except for the top end right here. So from here, you could literally use a palm technique, which you get all this squeegeed out already. All this indentation right here. There you go. There's one little bubble over here. Pick it up a little bit. Work it out. Bam. Just like that, guys. Majority of the quarter panel or the bed is already tacked down and ready to go. And here we're going to work down. You're always going to want to squeegee the top end of this body line, just because for some reason a lot of bubbles like to gather or get stuck right here where the body line actually starts. Now I could get you guys a little closer. So I'm gonna adjust you guys also. So from here, guys, we're already pretty much done with all this top area and all the top of the quarter panel. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to gradually get all of this as flat as we can in one section. So when you see the fingers start, you're gonna want all this squeegee part aligned. So you're gonna want to get all those air bubbles out and make sure that there's just one flat line of where you squeegeed. That way, so when you pull, that anchor that you're pulling is aligned and everything will align correctly when you create tension. So I'll get this up. There you go, guys. Now I can create tension downwards, and then we can create this hinge right here so we can pull against. Same thing with right here. You're going to want to work all these bubbles down, guys. Just make sure we get that hinge, and always wet your squeegee just so you could have a little bit of slip solution. You won't get any scratches, or you won't hang up on that wrap all that much. And then, as you can see, we pretty much got a whole straight line right here that we already squeegeed, and there's no bubbles or anything. So when we stretch, it's going to uniformly go down straight, unless you're like, if it was wavy or something, then you'll be pulling from a certain spot a lot more than what you are on the other spots, and you can leave it a little bit wonky, or you could create tension where you're not supposed to, stuff like that, guys. So you're just going to want to keep these hinges as straight as possible. We're going to need some heat on this front end. Go. Just a little bit of heat and tension. We got all this flat and correct. Perfect. That was perfect right there, guys, actually. So now we're just going to sit down on our butt and work the front end of this fender first. I'm going to want to get a tack cloth just in case any contamination got to the bottom of that fender. Alright guys, let's try this again. I was recording the other side and it went great, but unfortunately this week it's supposed to be 100, 106 all week, so my phone eventually just gave out because of the temperature. But I'm gonna leave the AC on, see if we could get this done correctly with the AC on, because when it's a little colder, the material does get a little bit brittle, more thicker, or like less pliable. So it's a lot harder to heat it up and get it to maneuver to places that you need to. So let's try it out. I'm gonna start on top, work my way down, and we're gonna start at the top, stop at the wheel well so we could do all this intersection first, and then we'll be doing the bottom ends after that. Let me get it peeled off, let me put you guys on time lapse, and let me put some music, and let's wrap it up.
First reaction.
Yo, it's sweet. I love it.
It is nice. Let's look around and see what you think about it. How you like the color?
I love it. It's better than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, right. It looked a lot more blue than what it.
Yeah.
Yeah, than green. But yeah, in the sun it looks a lot more green.
Fuck yeah. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it.
Got everything done correctly, even the roof up there and everything. Oh yeah.
And there we go, guys. That's the end result in kkvinyl emerald green. As you can see, very awesome color, very awesome and aggressive truck. I was very happy to get this all done with one roll.
Also got my logo embossed on the gas cap, as you can see there. I love that the customer liked this color and was really happy in seeing the truck. That's what I do it for. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you all for your support, and leave me a comment on what color you'd like to see next.